Hello, and thank you very much for clicking on this movie review. I wanted to put this disclaimer out in front of the reviews that were going to be released this week because all of them deal with some would consider very sensitive material, especially what has happened in the last couple of weeks. This week I am scheduled to review all of the films in the Has Fallen trilogy, and all of them, of course, deal with the taking of the US president, or taking of the White House, taking of Washington, D.C., which a couple of weeks ago was an actual reality due to some domestic terrorism. I film all these reviews in advance. That allows me to keep them coming out and being published on a regular basis for all of you. So I had recorded all of these reviews before January 6th, when a bunch of terrorists decided to storm the Capitol because they were protesting because they lost an election, and their man lost an election and wouldn't concede to what is a fair election in every sense of the word. So that's why I don't comment on the events that happen. I actually think I make a couple of comments in these reviews this week that I'm scared and worried about anything that may happen during the inauguration. I wanted to release this in honor of our new president, Joe Biden, and thankfully he's taking office and maybe we can get back to some stability in the White House and in our government in this country, more so than what we've had in the last 4 years. But I think I make comments about how I'm just scared. Hey, I'm recording these ahead of time. I'm not sure if something does happen. And actually I'm recording this disclaimer well ahead of the inauguration. So hopefully these domestic terrorists that decided to storm the Capitol on January 6th don't try to take matters into their own hands again on January 20th. This is to honor all of the Secret Service members who dedicate their lives in protection of an office that should be viewed as an honorable position and very important. Definitely doesn't seem so, especially in the last 4 years. This channel is meant to be something that is fun, something that is honest when it comes to movies and film reactions, but I felt I would be doing myself a disservice by not addressing what has happened and the subject matter that is hitting so close to home now with what happens in these films to what is actually happening in real life today in this country. I think we have a lot of questions that we need to ask ourselves as a country and as a people. That these domestic terrorists were able to get all the way into the Capitol building, storming people's offices, and only a couple of people died. This was a Black Lives Matter protest. The casualties would have been tremendous, and we would have been seeing a lot more people lose their lives in the last couple of weeks. I think that's something that we need to ask ourselves as a country. You see a lot of news reports of people saying, how were these terrorists able to do this to the Capitol building? I think you just look at the color of their skin, and there's your answer right there. This country is not perfect. It's never been perfect, but it has been a beacon of hope and a beacon of fair democracy for the last couple of centuries, and that was in question a couple of weeks ago. I'm angry, and I'm sad, and I just want to hold those domestic terrorists and everyone who supported and fanned the flames and entertained the idea of fraudulent elections and entertained the warped demonic mind of Donald Trump. Anyone that entertained him should be held accountable. I try not to be political on this channel at all. This channel is meant to be a celebration of film. Film is a universal language. It allows us chances to escape. It allows us chances to search for knowledge, to search for education on maybe a certain subject matter or a morality issue or a political issue. It's just sometimes the subject matter of those films can hit hard to home, and I think these Has Fallen films will definitely do that for some people who may click on this review. I always sign off all my reviews with be well and be good to each other, and I don't think those words need to be said more than today. So before we get started, please be well, be good to yourself, and be good to each other. We can get through this, but in the meantime, hopefully you have a little fun by checking out the rest of this review. Take care, guys. Well, how bad is it? Pretty goddamn bad, sir. London has fallen. Fallen, released in 2016 and is directed by Babak Najifi, who has also directed the film Proud Mary. And this film is starring, again, the always badass Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman, and Angela Bassett. And this is continuing our reviews of all of the Has Fallen films that have been released in honor of the inauguration of our new American president this week, actually today. The day that this review is coming out, we actually have a new president in this country. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, thank God. Thank you very much. And in honor of all those Secret Service men who are now Secret Servicing an actual, legit, honorable president, we're talking about Secret Service agents with these movies, because they're badass. The British Prime Minister has recently passed away, and to honor the official, several world leaders agree to come to his funeral service in London. President Asher seems enthused about it. However, new head Secret Service agent Gerard Butler, who plays Mike Banning, has a very bad feeling about this whole situation, and his gut instincts seem to be correct because once they arrive in London, a terrorist attack goes into effect and kills all of the world leaders except for President Asher. So now Asher and Banning are running the streets of London trying to get out so that the terrorists don't capture President Asher and torture and murder him online for the world to see. I was a huge fan of Olympus Has Fallen when that was originally released. I thought the character of Mike Banning was a badass. I think he was a 90s character that was here in the 2010s, and I think it totally worked. And the whole situation of Olympus Has Fallen, the taken down of the White House, everything seemed legit to me. These characters seemed legit to me, so here we're getting a sequel. Yes, I am all in. Sign me up. I am seeing this thing. And unfortunately, just like with a lot of action sequels, especially when we get to action sequels of the 90s, the plot of the sequel doesn't live up to the same standards as the original. Because I'm sorry, this whole situation that they got themselves into, it just proves that it's a dumbass situation. It sucks that the British Prime Minister passes away, and yes, he was a friend to all of these world leaders, but taking all the world leaders and putting them into one enclosed building at one particular moment in time is a recipe for disaster. Ugh. You can pay your respects one at a time. Maybe one comes in 1 month and another comes in another month, but all of you at the exact same time on the same day in the same location? No. So when all the bombs started happening and all of the assassination attempts started succeeding, I was kind of like, yeah, what were you expecting? But that does propel our action hero, our protagonist of the story, Mike Banning, into action, and when he is in action, I mean, that's, I go goo goo gaga over all of what he does. This is awesome. And the stunts and the situations that he is able to get himself out of and get the president out of, they're badass, but they're definitely far-fetched. He's in a car chase, driving backwards, and he's picking off all these terrorists that are trying to catch up and shoot them on motorcycles. He's able to pick them off one by one. Okay, I'm going along with it, that's fine. And now they're getting into the helicopter to get to Air Force One. Okay, they're fine. Oh, nope, we got rocket launchers in random places on buildings here in London. Just randomly, throughout the city. Because they knew this was going to happen? Reasons? Helicopter gets hit, it goes down, and surprise, surprise, Mike Banning and President Asher are the only ones to survive. Okay, I'm going along with you. You've kind of stretched it here. Don't stretch it anymore. Oh, now Asher gets captured, and the only way to get out of this whole building is to explode the whole building and fall down an elevator shaft, and hopefully we'll survive. Okay, I'm going along with you. But my God, you're asking a lot from me. And yes, that's what 80s action movies, that's what 90s action movies do. So if it's following the same concept and formula as those, yes, I can buy that, but gosh, you're asking a lot from me. So the situation, the action scenes seem a little ridiculous here and seem very far-fetched. All the while we have bro talk going down between Asher and Banning because Banning is soon to be a father and he's gotta survive this to get back home to see that baby because he's having a baby. You see the writing on the wall when we get to those scenes. Now Asher survived Olympus Has Fallen. Here there's another assassination attempt on his life. I'm thinking to myself, what did this president do that pissed off everyone all over the globe to have multiple assassination attempts on him? What does he do? Is he a Republican? I think I just lost half of my viewers on that one. Did he gas out an entire protest of Black Lives Matter people just so he can walk across the street to stand in front of a church and hold up a Bible as if it's a prop? Did he do that? I don't know what it is about him, but apparently everyone else in the world hates him. Which led me to think that this movie was going to see the end of Asher. Brief warning, here is a spoiler alert for what I'm about to say next, because it was a big issue that I had with this movie, and I thought it was going to a place and it didn't go there. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, stop right here, go watch it, and then come back to this point. So now that I put that out there, I was expecting Asher to die in this movie. I think plot-wise and story structure-wise, it makes sense. There were so many lines and little bits of dialogue between Asher and Banning that made it seem like he was going to die. He was going to sacrifice himself, or maybe even Banning was going to have to shoot him in order not to be tortured in front of a live global audience on TV, or something like that. The way that Asher was talking to Banning about being a father and being there for your kids. Heck, he even makes a pact with Banning, saying that, okay, if I get captured, you put a bullet in me. Kill me, that's an order, because I don't want people around the world seeing the American president tortured to death on screens for someone to watch on YouTube several years down the road. I feel like there is a draft of this movie, an original draft of this movie, where Asher dies at the end. But then, for whatever reason, the studio came in and said, no, we want him to live, we can't have the president in our movie die. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but it feels like, to me, that it was lending itself to that plot point, and we didn't get there. So I'm thinking that someone had to have interfered. I have not seen Angel Has Fallen, the third one in this series, but I know that Aaron Eckhart does not come back to reprise his role as the president. So if you were going to do that initially, why not have that dramatic moment for Banning's character? I don't know. If they didn't think about doing it, then I think they should have taken more time with this script. If they did have it and someone interfered, then I think shame on them, because I think Asher needed to die in this movie, and the fact that he didn't, I think it lessens the impact of this overall arcing story. Morgan Freeman returns as Alan Trumbull. Now he is the vice president, not the Speaker of the House, so a nice little promotion for him. And we have the return of Scrunchy Face. He is here, and that is all that he is doing. I don't even think he has lines in this movie. If he does, maybe it's one. But all he does here is just the scrunchy face. It's the greatest character in these movies. I love it. And I know I said in my Olympus Has Fallen review that the visual effects in that movie belong in the 90s. They are something to be desired. I don't know how it was possible, but they regressed even further with this movie. I remember the first time that I watched this movie and thought, oh my god, what happened? Did this film not get the same budget as it did in the first one? I can't see how that's possible. The helicopter crashes, the bridge being shot at, and cars falling into the water, the helicopter fight scene. It does not look good. Hopefully, maybe they'll be improved upon when we get to Angel Has Fallen. I have not seen that installment yet, so we'll check that one out next time. But this time around, I think this is a good action movie. It's definitely a downgrade from Olympus Has Fallen. That one felt so real and so gritty for me as an American, seeing this big symbol of the White House being just blown to bits. Here, I see my American president going to Great Britain with a bunch of other leaders for a funeral, and it's like, come on, you sense it in the air, right guys? Something's gonna happen if we all do this. Let's not do this. But they do this. Stupid characters doing stupid things, and there are consequences for it, so they definitely get them. I think that there is left to be desired when it came to the plot and to the climax of this movie, especially when we get to character arcs. But I think overall, it is a fine time as an action movie. You always get awesome, badass hand-to-hand combat with Mike Banning, great shootouts, great fun explosions here and there. It's definitely a good time, just definitely not as good of a time as Olympus Has Fallen was. I'm gonna give London Has Fallen 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, we will be back here on Friday where I will wrap up this inauguration celebration week with my review of Angel Has Fallen. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can leave your recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter, leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. And if you really want me to do your recommendation as quickly as I possibly can, bypass the whole random generator, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. So guys, have you seen London Has Fallen? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Angel Has Fallen. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.